Hey everyone, we're making a podcast.
Making a podcast.
Tentatively called the Rock Talk Podcast. I think I'm very loud. It seems so. I'm gonna turn myself down a little bit. All right, hopefully that's better. Tentatively called the Rock Talk Podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Riley, and I'm here with
Co-host Ella.
yep. So and we both like music and rock music specifically. Um,
Yep.
We both run music related YouTube channels, me, the A side, and her, the
Yeah.
classic rock corner. And yeah, I guess if you want to like maybe say like a little bit about yourself and like your musical experience.
Well, for me, my channel and me, I'm pretty based around classic rock, and that's what I enjoy most. Um, I don't know what else. I've been loving music for a long time now. It's like my biggest passion, and I love talking about it, and that's why Riley and I have kind of decided to come together and just kind of talk about all music, all rock music. Doesn't have to be specific like classic rock or anything, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know, Riley. Do you have anything you want to say about yourself?
Uh, yeah, I like music too. If you couldn't tell, and we're just kind of here talking. I'm a big fan of a lot of music throughout the ages. I mean, more than rock too, but rock has always been my mainstay, specifically alternative rock. But I have always had an interest in the classics as well. So, and yeah, I mean, if you've seen either of our channels, you know that what artists we like and what we're talking about here. So,
Yeah,
anyway,
I think with us this podcast, we're going to be kind of merging some, practically merging our channels together, pretty much.
yeah, basically.
Kind of, yeah, kind of, because there is music that you like that I haven't really listened to, gotten into that would be cool to kind of dive into as well.
Yeah, and vice
Um,
versa from here
yeah,
too.
exactly. But yeah, it's exciting that we get
Um,
to do this.
yeah, and we're gonna be talking about Band on the Run today as our focus for an album. We're probably gonna, I would assume, do album by album for each episode. Maybe cover band in general at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about the album by Paul McCartney and his post-Beatles band Wings, Band on the Run, 1973. Uh,
Yes.
the version I've been listening to is 9 songs, 41 minutes and 1 second. I know there is like different like versions depending on like what country and like what
Yeah.
issue, but I believe this is like the original track
Yeah.
run.
There is like a bonus track on there,
Yeah.
which the pressing that I do have on vinyl has the bonus track, but because you've been listening to them with the just 9 songs,
Yes. I
well,
mean,
well
you can give thoughts on the bonus song if you want. Band on the Run is actually one of the few Wings albums I don't have on vinyl. So I've been
I
listening
highly
to it. So
highly recommend it. It's literally so everything sounds better on vinyl.
I agree.
This album is an exception for that.
I've got The Speed of Sound, London Town, and Venus and Mars on vinyl.
See,
So
I don't have Venus and Mars and London Town.
the only one I've actually listened to is London Town. I haven't heard or is Venus and Mars. I haven't heard Speed of Sound or London Town yet. I'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah, I
But
haven't.
I have heard
I
that.
have to. I haven't listened to. Um, I think Venus and Mars or London Town as much. I probably have heard like songs from it. I definitely need to dive into Wings a little bit more.
Me too.
But
Because what I've heard I've really liked. I mean, same for McCartney
yeah,
in general. I would
exactly.
say out of all the Beatles solo albums I've heard, McCartney 1970 is probably my favorite. Um,
It's a great album.
and I think Wings in general is just a really good band because I feel like Paul McCartney really brought the pop appeal to the Beatles in a way, whereas, you know, John, George, kind of more experimental in places. I feel like Paul really was the poppier, more populist side of things. So going into Wings, a lot of these songs are very kind of whimsical and poppy and fun. I mean, look at this album. You got songs like Band on the Run or like Bluebird are like
Yeah,
definitely very like whimsical and poppy and chill,
exactly.
and very
Like
appealing.
yeah, like you have in comparison to say John's solo career, he's very much in the early 70s very political with his songs and a
Yeah,
lot more. like kind of aggressive and uh forward,
Yeah.
where I mean, you can kind of see the parallels between you know Paul's solo career and with Wings from his later stuff with the Beatles, like on the White Album with the whimsical songs. So you can kind of see like his the similarities that he just kind of carried into his solo career, which I think is
Yeah.
great.
And I feel like out of all the solo projects, I feel like Wings is definitely the most Beatlesy esque
Yes.
one. At least on this album, I felt it. Like Band on the Run, I feel like the track itself. I feel like if the Beatles would have stayed together, they would have ended up making a song a lot like Band on the Run,
Oh
sooner
yeah,
or later.
I would agree with that. I think yeah, I can definitely see that, and I definitely agree with that because
And
it just has that same kind of vibe.
yeah, most definitely, and kind of some of the experimentation as well. Like the song has like really early uses of electronics, which I love, by the
Hmm.
way, because I love when rock music kind of takes electronics and tries to bring them in there, and it's so cool to see like such an early iteration of that. And I think the old analog synthesizers sound really good. And it gives the song like this really like cool space age vibe. Like it makes me
Hmm.
feel like I'm walking on Mars or the moon, especially in those first two sections. And I feel like if the Beatles would have kept going, they would have experimented with electronics even more. I know they did a little bit, I
Hmm.
believe. Like there's some on Magical Mystery Tour, like
Yes.
Strawberry Fields, and a little bit, I believe, on the medley of Abbey Road. But I feel like eventually they would have taken that a little further and kind of blended it with a lot of other sounds. And I feel like Wings kind of does that a lot. Like there's a lot of times, like there's some exotica on this album, and I really feel some soulfulness on some of these tracks as well. Um, and especially, like I said, the title track in general, and also the way it's structured really feels like a Beatles song too. How there's not really necessarily a chorus; it's like multiple parts. Kind of reminds me of
Yes.
like A Day in the Life or
Hmm.
Happiness is a Warm Gun, and that's the kind of multiple like suites, a suite instead of like one song with like a structure. Is kind of something the Beatles pioneered
Yeah.
back in the day.
No, absolutely. So we should probably. What do you want to start with the title track? Like get going?
Yeah, might as well.
I
I
mean,
mean, I kind of got a little bit ahead of myself talking about the title track a little bit, but you can go ahead and say some stuff.
well, I mean, what? I mean, you've covered it pretty well, but like, it's the title track. It's probably one of his most iconic songs, like
Oh, most
in
definitely.
general. Like, it's it's an amazing song.
I
I
agree.
love it. It's just like it's so fun to listen to, and kind of just like agreeing with what you said. It's very much just kind of fun and poppy, and just I don't know. It's just awesome to listen to. Um, I don't know. It's just it's like hard to describe it. It's like
There's so
how
much to this song,
exactly.
and like I feel like this song specifically stands with the best of like the Beatles tracks even.
Mm,
Like I mentioned earlier, it was very similar, but like quality wise, I think it's just as good as some of the best stuff the Beatles did in their
yes,
best era.
I would agree with that. Definitely, it stands its own and it holds itself. I mean, like many years later, like Paul McCartney still like I believe he still plays it at concerts,
I'm
and
sure it does. It's a classic.
people love it. Like there's no doubt about that people love this song, and it's become his one of his most iconic songs that he's like written during his entire post Beatles career
Yeah, I would say
for good reason.
it's probably easily Wings' most iconic song. If you've heard a Wings song, it's probably this one.
Yeah, most likely.
Either that or the
Silly Love Song's
No
a good
Time to
song.
Oh, Silly Love Song. I always forget about that song. And was it Wings or just Paul McCartney that did the James Bond soundtrack?
Oh, geez. I have a feeling I think it was Wings that did it, but I could be very wrong. I haven't fact checked myself, but I feel like it was Wings actually.
I think people sometimes forget how like successful and beloved Wings were. Kind of
Yes.
nowadays, I
I
feel like they're kind of an underrated band.
I very much agree with that. I think they're overlooked, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about like solo Beatles. I mean, Band on the Run gets talked about, but like no one ever mentions the other albums. It's mostly like this,
No.
and then like All Things Must Pass, and then some of
Yep.
John's albums. But like, I feel like there's a lot more. Like on this album, there's some other really amazing songs that like
Oh yeah.
no one talks about, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, so I'll wait to mention them. But
I have a feeling we're kind of on the same page with that because we have not talked about this.
we have
This is
not.
our
I've
first time.
I've made sure not to mention it. I wanted to save discussion for the podcast.
Yeah, because you know, gotta keep it. Gotta keep it. You know, it's our first opinion with each other. We could be disagreeing, but I don't know. I feel like we're on the same like wavelength
I
when it comes
highly
to term.
we're gonna disagree on this album. I'm assuming you really like it, cause I do.
I absolutely love this album. It's like one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, there's not a song on it that I don't like. Not to get ahead of myself, but like, it's just I just can't find honestly. I can't find fault. You know,
My
it's just
only fault,
I don't know. It's one of those albums for me where I literally love every single song,
my fault
and that's I feel like that's hard.
with this album is I feel like it's a little front loaded. While I like every
Mhm.
song on the album, I think the first couple of songs, like the first 5 songs, I think are just a lot better than the last couple of tracks. Not to say the last couple of
Yeah.
tracks aren't good, because they are. I just feel like the first half is a lot stronger.
hmm
But a lot
I
of
think
albums do that.
the first half, especially with the first two like tracks, and then the fourth track, it's like
Yeah.
that kind of more like I don't know the word for it, like not heavy rock, but like more kind of
It's
in your face,
it's bigger
energetic type.
and
Yes.
kind of more grandiose. Like, I mean, Band
Yeah.
on the Run. If you know that song is definitely very grandiose. I mean, the giant like horn section that leads into like the big
Oh my
Band on the
god.
Run. It's definitely
Yes.
trying to be very like large and epic.
And honestly, that's it's great because of that. Like it's
I agree.
so good.
It
It's
it
so good.
really it is like you said in your face, but in the best way possible. You know, it really
Yes.
tells you like we're wings and we're here to make an impact on your life. And it
Yeah.
really is just so grand, but it never feels overblown either. I feel like the quality of the music is still kind of uh, on the same level as the grandiosity, so it never feels like
hmm
it's trying too hard or overblowing itself because Paul McCartney is such a talented musician
hmm
and songwriter, and the band themselves are so talented that they pull this grandiose sound off and pull like these eclectic grab bags of different sounds off. Like, how often are you going to hear a classic pop rock song that has both synthesizers and a giant horn section from
Yep.
1973 of all years? You know, it's just almost feels ahead of its time, in my opinion.
I would agree with that statement. And I think also it kind of shows that Paul McCartney kind of like there's more to him than just the Beatles, you know?
Absolutely.
Like it really just shows I feel like this album kind of really especially obviously Band on the Run the title track it really shows his ability and what like a fantastic musician he is and writer and like he's just like not to like idolize him or anything like that but he is a genius he's a musical genius
Absolutely.
like for sure you can't deny that like you don't have to like him you don't have to like the Beatles but you can't deny the fact you know that they're literally geniuses.
Yeah, they changed everything.
Oh
And
absolutely.
their influence can still be felt to this day. And they were such a
hmm
groundbreaking band. And I think Paul McCartney, well, all the Beatles continued to break ground even after the Beatles broke up. I mean,
yeah.
Imagine, even though I'm not a big fan of Imagine, definitely had its influence. You know, Band on the Run and Wings. I mean, we already talked about like how experimental and groundbreaking this song is, and like I hear a lot of people talk about like All Things Must Pass. Like these albums were still really big deals after the Beatles broke up, and they still continued to break ground and influence artists for generations and generations to come. Maybe not on the same scale as the Beatles did, maybe not even always on the same quality, but they definitely continued to do that.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that for sure. Well, since we spent like 10 minutes on
That is a good
um
song though, and it's a very
it's
iconic song. There's a
I
lot to
mean
unpack there.
10 minutes for a good reason. I mean, honestly, like
I mean, the song
I
itself is
we could
what,
go.
like 7 minutes?
I think around that, yeah. I mean, honestly, we could probably go even longer talking about how great the song is, and
We could probably do a whole podcast on just this song.
just maybe another time. Um, well, our second track is Jet, which is another kind of in your face, like
Most
very
definitely.
kind of like
Once again, with
just there.
the very loud woodwinds kind of drowning everything out in a way really like gets you invested, and the whole band shouting "Jet" just kind of really like gets your attention and is like gets you into the song and makes you want to pay attention. It's so energized. And there's so much energy throughout this album, but you can definitely hear the energy and excitement on this album. It's like the band knew they were, or on this track, it's like the band knew they were making something great and something fun, and they just put their entire souls into it.
Oh,
Paul's melody sounds so good here, and so do his vocals.
oh yeah, and I mean, kind of going back to what you said about the Jet part, where everybody just it's like every time I listen to it, I always feel the need to like join in on that part, even if I'm like doing something and I like haven't been, like sing along with the entire song. But when that
Just
part
that
comes on,
part.
it's like,
It's like the hand claps in the Friends theme song. You can't help yourself.
yeah, you can't help yourself. It's just like it just pulls you in, and you can't help but just go along with it. And that's so great about it. It's interactive in a way. It's like I don't know. It's just
It
so
gets you into
great.
it.
Yeah.
It's just like a great hook.
And it's
And
it's definitely like a song that you listen to and you'll instantly kind of be in a better mood just because it's so
absolutely,
energetic and it just brings you in and
you just
like
can't
it's
help but have fun.
yeah, you really can't.
I like some of the wordplay on this song too. The line about, I believe it's Jet. They said the Colonel was a lady suffragette. I just always thought
Yes.
is really funny. Um, I just like the little wordplay there. I think it's clever. Paul being a great lyricist and songwriter.
Oh yeah. Yeah. His wordplay is definitely like a highlight in that song. This song, I should say, and it's I don't know. It's a funny song, but it's just so good.
It is. It's just fun, and I don't think it's necessarily supposed to be taken so seriously. It's not like Blackbird, but a song can still
Yeah.
be amazing without having to be serious. And this is just a song that's
It's one
supposed
of
to have fun to, and I think it kills it in every way.
it's definitely one of those songs like a lot of kind of just going back to like their other solo careers. Like you have kind of talking again about John Lennon's solo career was a lot of his songs are on the more serious end,
Yeah,
and you kind of have to really kind of be into it and understand it and and enjoy it for the seriousness. But where you compare it to like Jet or any of Paul's solo stuff, like yeah, he had some serious songs in there, but a lot of it was more energetic, and you just want to listen to more of it.
yeah.
That's I don't know. That's kind of
No,
going into that a little bit.
I definitely agree. Like, if the time came, like if I was going a drive by the water and I had to pick between Imagine or Band on the Run, I would definitely pick Band on the Run. But if it's like a sad, rainy day, probably Imagine would fit the vibe a little better.
Yeah, exactly. Just it fits the vibe.
Yeah, and
You want to when you're happy, you want to listen to happier, more upbeat songs. You don't want
absolutely.
to listen to a song about war or your mother leaving you when you're a child. Like you just don't.
Yeah. And I feel like that's, I don't want to get off track, but I feel like that's part of what made the Beatles work so well, specifically the Lennon McCartney kind of dynamic, because McCartney wanted to have fun and Lennon was a little more serious, especially kind of like in the later era, and I feel like them together kind of made a really good balance of the two, and really helped bring out that band's talent. We're not talking about the Beatles.
Yeah, we'll say that for we can do that for another time.
Absolutely. It's hard
Because we
not to
can
mention them though,
it's really yeah, like you
because
can
context is
you
important.
need you need contacts before you can sound like I just said contacts. You need contacts to see if you need them.
I
But
mean, Lennon
context.
Lennon could have used contacts. He did have glasses.
Yes, he did use them actually. Fun fact. Fun
That is
fact.
so
He did
lame.
use. We will. We'll save another podcast because we could talk about the Beatles and just their influence in just anything really for a while.
Hours, absolutely.
But we will talk about this album right now because
Yes.
this is what we decided to do.
We don't want this to be a year long either.
No, we want people to stick around.
Listen,
Um.
our commentary is interesting enough to have people stick around.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. We're just here to have a fun time to talk about some music.
Absolutely.
So that's all you need. I don't think I really have anything else to say about Jet. It's
No,
pretty
I
fun.
don't really either. It's just a fun song.
Yeah, definitely. Like if even if you haven't listened to this album and you're thinking about getting into Paul's like Wings era a little bit more, definitely listen to this album and like listen to Jet. That'll hook you in,
Most definitely.
like for sure. Um, so our next track is Bluebird, which not is not Blackbird, it's
It's not
Bluebird.
Blackbird. Very different songs.
Very different songs. Honestly, like not to put like down Blackbird or anything, but I kind of enjoy Bluebird more than I do
Oh,
Blackbird.
100%. That's not even a question. I think Blackbird's a beautiful song, but this is like behind the title track. This is my second favorite song on the album. I love this song
It's such a good
so
song.
much. It's just so chill and it's such a vibe. I believe it's pronounced like a guiro. Or there's little like Latin instruments with the ridges that you play the sticks on. It just gives it like such a chill kind of vibe.
Like
Uh, the harmonies on the you're a bluebird
Bluebird.
are just
Yes.
so pretty and they just create like this really nice just like feeling of just vibing and relaxing and just letting close your eyes and let the music carry you to another place.
Like when I listen to I would have to agree with you. It's one of probably I don't know. It's hard to pick like my favorite songs of this album, but it's definitely up there in the sense of the harmonies and just kind of like you said, it makes you want to like teleport somewhere else. Like you close your eyes and you want to be just like in the moment, but imagining like this whole world. Like for me, when I listen to it, I kind of imagine just like I don't know why, but I imagine like a little like cottage in the middle of a field
I could see
and
it.
just like seeing like just like nature around me, like a beautiful sunny day and birds, like bluebirds, I mean, obviously, and just kind of like the tranquility of it. Like it's just a relaxing song. It's just so beautiful, and Linda's harmonies is amazing. Like she wasn't a singer, and I think it was awesome that he kind of brought her in and included her in
I
as
agree.
much as he could, and I think she holds her own, and her harmonies are beautiful. I really do think so.
Vocally, also, Paul sells this song so
Oh,
much. Like, he absolutely just makes you feel every way he intended to make you feel. His soft vocals sound beautiful, and he kind of just really encapsulates the emotion of this song in such a good way. And like I said, I mean, he's a great showman and one of the greatest songwriters of all time, but he just really pulls it off here and really sells it to you.
yeah. I His voice, like I'm just like playing it in my mind now.
It's so
His
good.
voice is just so soft and just so beautiful, and like how can you not enjoy it?
It's like a soft pillow after a long day of work.
Yeah, it really is. I think this is probably one of the if I mean compared to all the rest of the songs on the album, it's the softest song,
Yeah,
and
the softest, and I would say it's the softest. There's another one that's pretty soft that we'll get to, but I
yeah,
think this
I
one,
think I think we're thinking the same
I would
same
assume we
thing.
are, but this one, I do prefer this one.
I do too.
And it's probably the prettiest song on the album
Oh,
if I go out
for
on a
sure.
limb.
I would agree with that. I will join you on that limb because it's the prettiest song on this album, and agreeing with I think it's better than Blackbird. Not like you said, not to say that Blackbird isn't beautiful.
Because
It's
Blackbird's
beautiful in its
amazing.
own right. Yes, it's amazing. It's still a beautiful song in its own right. But personally, I don't know. I find myself listening to Bluebird more often and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Oh, the next track. This track we have Mrs. Vanderbilt,
The song
which I
bops so hard.
I love this song so much. Like I can't literally. It's one of my favorite songs on the album. It's kind of like in Jet, like with Jet, like in the sense of like how they have the ho, hey ho,
Yeah.
like it kind of like I want to do that every time.
And it's super catchy too. Like I get
Super
the
catchy.
"Leave me alone, Mrs. Vanderbilt" will get stuck in
Yes.
my head. Like it's been stuck in my head all day. I mean, I've been listening to this album a lot, of course, but like it's
Hmm.
been stuck in my head. Like I'm trying to fall asleep at night, and it's like in the back of my mind over and over again, torturing me. But it's like the sweetest torture ever because it sounds so good.
It's so it's just so literally I listen to this song all the time. Kind of the same spot, like the leave me alone, and then when it goes into I've got plenty of time, I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. Like I just
It's
feel like that
also
feeling when you're just listening to a song and you can't describe it, but it's just so good. Like
yeah, I know exactly
it's
what you mean.
indescribable.
Just like when you like ascend
Like
to another level.
exactly. Literally that's how I am with this song. But that's also how I am with this entire album. So
And
but yeah.
it's got a killer sax solo too.
It does.
It's one of the highlights of the album overall. Is the sax solo.
If I could play saxophone, I would learn that solo.
Oh, absolutely. That and the
So,
intro to Careless Whisper.
yes, absolutely for sure.
I also like how fast the verses are on this song. It kind of adds a bit of an intensity to it, and
Uh-huh.
like it gets you like ramped up and hyped up. Um, it's definitely one of the most intense songs on the album, I'd say. I don't know,
Mhm.
intense kind of has like a
It's like
weird connotation to it,
yeah,
but I don't mean it with a connotation. I just mean I don't know. It's hard to explain. Intense, but not in like the way like a horror movie is intense. Rather, the way like a roller coaster is intense. It's like
yes.
fun and adrenaline pumping and
It's got you on edge. Like you want
excites
you
you.
want to experience it.
Yeah,
You want to hear more. I would agree with that. Sorry, I just love this song.
very good. And I like how it
It's
keeps switching names too. Like at one point it's Mrs. Vanderbilt, and later
and
it's
then
Mrs. Robinson, and other. I believe
yeah.
there are others. I can't remember them off the top of my
There's
head.
Mrs. Washington later,
Yes,
like towards the end. It's just so good.
and I like how it switches it up because it never gets stale. I mean,
Yeah,
even that slightest change. I mean, it's like there's still the same melodies and instrumentation, but even that slightest change, you're like, okay,
this
you're doing something. You know, you're putting
like
effort into your
it's
song.
yeah, it's the same words, same sound, but it's just that little change, and it just like you said, it's not stale, it's not dry.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
I mean, we're,
Um,
we're 4 for 4 so far. This album really does rock.
it really does. Like so far, we haven't really had any like negative negative thoughts about any of the songs.
I mean, it is a classic.
Really,
There's not really too much negative I have to say. And I mean, a classic doesn't automatically equal good, but I think in this case it
yeah,
does. There's a reason so many people like this album. It's because it's
hmm
just very quality.
yeah. It's very just it holds its own. It's very just
Yeah,
heavy with like
fun.
fun. Yeah.
I would just describe this album if I had to describe Band on the Run in one word, it would be fun. Because most of this album
Hmm.
is just really fun.
Yep. It's a great listen. Like if you ever just like you don't know what to put on, like this is the album to put on.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, I guess moving on. we have we have another one of my like I love this song. We have Let Me Roll It, which I actually liked this song before I had kind of that like dove more into like this entire album as a whole. So this song kind of will always have like a special part. I would say listening to the entire album, I kind of like some other songs more, maybe.
Yeah,
But I think this song I mean, it's a little bit shorter than the rest of them. Um, I think it's still kind of a good listen, but maybe not as like I don't know the right like how to explain it the right way. Like it holds its own, and I think it definitely like it's not to say that it doesn't like deserve its spot on the album. It definitely does. But I think I would find myself like listening to like Mrs. Vanderbilt more so now.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's a bit
I
of a
don't know.
pace change, and a bit
Hmm.
of a sound change as well, because a lot of these songs have thus far been pretty like poppy and
Yep.
more toward the pop rock side of things. Whereas "Let Me Roll It" is like a really soulful song. It's got like
Yeah.
this really like I don't want to say weird, but like cool swing to it. And the vocals,
Hmm.
like I said, are just like extremely soulful and like really he's just kind of like putting like so much soul and emotion into it. Like let me roll it to
Yeah.
you. Like they're really into it. Um, and it's definitely a different sound than what has been going on before. It definitely feels more like soul and R&B oriented than what some of the other stuff this album's been doing. But I think
Yeah.
it works. I think they pull it off.
I think it definitely. Yeah, I would agree. I think it's definitely like a change in pace. It's uh, it's slowed down.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more slowed down, but it's great. It's
yes, it's still
it's
very good. It
still
just has a different vibe.
yeah.
But I don't think it necessarily breaks the cohesion of the album either.
Mm-mm.
It's just a bit of a break, but I think it still fits within the entire like concept and feeling of the album as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that.
And I mean the whole idea of band on the run, going from place to place. Of course, their sounds are going to change from where they go, and that's why there are so many like different sounds on this album. Like you have some like synthesizers, and then like the soulfulness, and then you've got the saxophones, and then like the more like chill exotica moments. So I think it
There's
stays
just
true
so
to its
much.
name.
Yeah, there's just so much combined together, but it works so well.
It does, and I think sometimes maybe it shouldn't, um,
Hmm.
but it does, and I'm good with it, honestly.
Yeah, I I I'm not complaining. I wouldn't take it off the album.
No, me either.
Um, well, next one,
Mamonia.
Mamonia.
This was the other one I was talking about that's kind of similar to Bluebird. I'm assuming this is the one you're
Yeah.
talking about as well.
Yes, it was. It's literally the same song.
Just kind of with how kind of more laid back and vibey and slower it is, and it's kind of like love songy, and it's got the pretty harmonies. It's very similar.
Yeah, very similar, but still different. Like
Still
it,
different, yeah.
but it has the same, like you said, same kind of vibe to it. Like
Yeah.
slower feel and just kind of relaxing type tranquility. Um, I think it's. I think. I mean, I wouldn't like go as far and say like it's like one of my favorite songs on the album. I enjoy it a lot, but again, I'd probably listen to Bluebird for more of like a slower song over it. But I
Yeah.
still really enjoy the song. I still think it holds its own again, and wouldn't take it off the album.
I really like the acoustic guitar line on this song. I just think it's really pretty.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes.
It's very nice. And I feel like this might be I don't know, you can disagree with me. I feel like this might be like the most Beatley cut on this album, I think. Either this or like the title track. I just get like a lot of really similar vibes to the Beatles on this song. I mean, obviously, but
I can see that.
specifically,
I can definitely see that.
specifically in that guitar line, almost reminds me of something Harrison would have wrote.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if I feel like I would say probably Band on the Run has a little bit more Beatles vibes for myself, but
Yeah,
I can definitely see like where you're getting that from, and I can understand that and I can get that as well. I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about that. It's okay. It's a good song. It's
it's a good song. Maybe not as noteworthy as some of the other ones, but
yeah,
that's not always going to happen. But it's still a
yeah,
very pretty song. Pretty harmonies, pretty guitar. It's just pretty overall. Like it's not like mind blowing, but it's just a pretty song to vibe to.
yeah. I 100% agree with that. Oh, okay, I was looking at the next track, which recently we have. So our next track is No Words. This song recently has been like I've been playing it over and over again, specifically for one part, which I don't know how you're gonna feel about it. I mean, I feel like you like it, but like my favorite part is when you hear Paul go really high and he's just talking. He's what line is it?
Um,
Uh, sweet, your burning love, sweet. It's right after the no words for my the big that part, and then it goes your burning love, and then he goes really high. I don't know why, but I love that part so much.
I'm gonna
I
be
don't know.
honest.
You're
I
gonna be
can't
okay.
really remember what this song sounds like. All the other songs I like ever remembering, and I listened to them like 3 times today. I'm just drawing a blank on this track right now.
Well, let me tell you, it's. I mean, I would kind of maybe like. I don't know. I feel like maybe going out on a limb here. I feel like it's underrated on this album a little bit. Not to say like it's absolutely outstanding, but I feel like it doesn't get as much recognition. I mean, obviously, because you forgot. I'm just kidding. But um, personally, I really enjoy this song. Specifically the one part where Paul McCartney's falsetto is like amazing. um, I don't know, Riley. I don't know if you have anything to say about it.
Well, I don't remember disliking any song on this album, so I'm just gonna assume I liked it. But I don't know why. I've listened to this album quite a few times over the past week. I am just completely drawing a blank on what this song even is.
It's talking about love. That's what it's talking about.
Paul McCartney writing a love song? What?
Never heard of that one before. Paul McCartney never writes about love. No, I don't know where people get that idea. Um,
It's rather
but I'll give my.
silly.
um, but as for my opinion, I think it's a little underrated. Not saying that it's the best song on the album, but I think it should be listened
Deserves
to a little
more.
bit more. Yeah. Um, but moving on, we have Picasso's last words parentheses drink to me. Now I'll let you start off with your opinion on this song.
I
What
really
what?
like this one, honestly. Um, it's a little bit more, I think, of a slow burn than some of the other songs on the album, but I feel like it's rather rewarding. I really like the kind of like chorus feels just very like it has a very big feeling of camaraderie to it. Like the drink to me na, 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 na,
Yeah.
feels like a song like everyone would sing in a bar at a party, like at like 1 a.m. when everyone's sloshed. They're all gonna be, sitting there singing together. It just feels like
See,
a song of friends and all that.
I imagine it like sitting around a campfire.
Ooh,
Everybody's just like
that
having
too.
a great time, and you're just like,
Shows you where our minds went. You went to a campfire and I went to a bar.
oh, oh my god. Um, I love this song as well, kind of as well. It really does give you that feeling of just, well, for me, a campfire,
Just more in general,
sitting
being
around.
with friends and people you love and
Yeah,
having
just it's
fun.
just having fun and just it's just like you said, it is like kind of a another slow song, but
It's pretty
it, it
long, but
it's
it works.
it is on the longer side, but it does work, and I think it is nice to listen to, and it's fun to listen to, and I mean when I listen to it, it gives me like that camaraderie feeling where I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm with a group of friends right now.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting by the campfire,
Sitting by the campfire, getting wasted.
getting wasted.
I also really like how it kind of starts to incorporate um, the tracks from before. It really kind of
Yes.
brings the album full circle. This and the next track both kind of do that, but I like
Hmm.
how it like brings back like Mrs. Vanderbilt and some of the other stuff in the song. and kind of throws that in there. I just really like that for the album as a whole. I just think it helps really kind of bring things full circle and tie it all in a nice little bow.
I would 100% agree with you. That's probably like my favorite part of the song is when everything just kind of gets wrapped up and
Yeah,
tied together. It's just there's just something about it because like they're these they're from earlier tracks, but they're kind of taken in a different direction. They're like it just I don't know. It gives you like a new feeling. I love that. I don't know
yeah.
how to explain it.
What's old is new. You know,
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
you've heard it before, but now you're hearing it again, just in a different way. It's just as good.
Yeah. Literally. Well, enough about campfires. Our last track is 1985. Um, I'll let you kick this one off
I
again.
almost feel like this song takes on, I don't want to say dark, but a kind of a darker vibe. Specifically, like just the oh no, my phone. Specifically, and well, my phone's brand new. I don't want to get
Hmm.
sidetracked. But like I just got this and doesn't even have case yet, so I'm afraid I'm gonna break it.
You gotta be
Um,
careful.
I just feel like the piano kind of brings out like a bit of a darker edge to the
Hmm.
music, just a little bit, and I think it's a unique way to end off the album.
Yeah, you really. I mean, I'm trying to like. It's with how many tracks you're going through right now. It's hard to kind of remember every single part of every single song. But you
Yeah,
really kind of don't hear that same piano part in any of the other songs like you
yeah,
do in
it's got
this
a
track.
very different feel from the rest of the album.
Hmm. I I've loved this song. I love this song a lot still.
Yes, it is
Um,
very good. It's a very good closer.
yeah, and it like kind of again with Picasso's last words, it right at the end it kind of ties everything
Brings back
together.
Band on the Run, and I especially love that because the way the first track starts, the album starts, and then it ends on that too. And I just think that's
Yep,
I love when albums do that.
it's
And it
so epic.
shows that they really paid attention to detail and really cared about what they made.
Once again, going back to like just the musical genius that is Paul McCartney
Yeah,
and how he can take two different songs. Like you look at Band on the Run and then you look at 1985,
very different.
very different, but yet he found a way to tie them together at the end.
Yeah, and
Like
it really makes the experience feel complete too. And I think some
yes.
people don't understand. I know there are a lot of people who don't like really listen to albums from beginning to end, and I feel like they miss out on like getting a really complete experience. And I
Yep.
feel like Band on the Run is one of those albums that just really delivers on the complete album experience. It.
I would agree with that because I mean, more recently I've kind of started trying to listen to albums start to finish, which some albums it's really hard to do that. Like you
What
want
album?
I you know what's funny? I was literally thinking that, but I didn't want to say it. 'Cause I'm like, I don't want to bring the Beatles back into this, but like,
I mean,
um,
it's not the only album like that. There are other albums that are just,
yes, but like
honey, you're
that's the
too
one that comes to
long.
mind.
We love you, but we can't always find the time to listen to you.
Yeah, and there's just songs in there that you're just like,
Yeah,
just gonna skip over real quick. Um, but this album, I feel like it's an album that it's not a hassle to listen to it start to
absolutely,
finish.
absolutely not. It's very. I mean, it is 40 minutes. It's not a short album, but it's not
Yeah.
long, but it's not short either. But
Hmm.
it just kind of feels like it goes by quickly. I mean, I think 9 tracks, while some of the tracks are still like a little long, I don't think they really overstay their welcome often. Um, and the album as a whole never overstays its welcome. It's just a good from beginning to end and enjoyable, and it varies things up enough and has like so many eclectic sounds that you really don't get bored.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I would. I just lost my train of thought. Oh my Um, yeah, literally, it's not painful to like try to listen to. White Album. Um, okay, yeah, I act like I'm like I hate the White Album. I actually really enjoy the White
Oh,
Album,
it's amazing.
but
It's
it's just
long.
it's
Well,
long
I'm
and
sure
there's
we'll get to it one day, but it's
yes,
long.
it's so long.
It's like what,
But
80, 90 minutes? That's a lot of time.
a lot of time. There's some songs in there that just
Number
Making
9?
probably.
Does
No,
anyone actually like that song?
there is people that like that song,
I
and
think I've only listened to it in its entirety like twice. Like I only ever listen to it when I put my vinyl on. Like if I'm
yeah,
listening to it on like CD or digital, I will skip it every time. Because it's
I always
again,
skip
it's
it.
long, and I like experimental music, but it's just a little too avant-garde for me.
hmm I think, I mean, I don't want to go in and like start talking about the White Album, but like I think personally the best song in that album is "Happiness Is a Warm Gun." My personal opinion,
It's up there.
but like you compare that to like Revolution 9, it's like,
Yeah,
like you
and I mean
said,
that's
it's
even within the
it's
Lennon tracks.
experimental to a point.
Yeah, there's experimentation, and then there's having your head somewhere.
Being tripping on drugs,
Yeah,
acid, popping acid.
tripping on drugs and Japanese women.
Oh my god. Um, well, not to, we didn't get off track at all.
Podcasts tend to
Um,
get off track, though. The discussion is
okay.
what matters.
You need context.
Yes. Context on John Lennon for this Paul McCartney album.
Yes. I mean, man, I can't wait to do like other like this is gonna be so great. We'll have to do well hang on. Let's wrap up Band on the Run. Just
Yeah,
once again, it's overall just such a great album, and it's truly just worth a listen to.
absolutely.
Just sit like honestly, it's one of those albums where you can just sit down, be doing nothing, and just
Vibe.
listen to it
Yeah,
all the way through. It's just that kind
it's
of
very good.
album.
Um,
Yeah.
if you don't feel like listening, if you're not the kind of person that will listen to an entire album or you don't have the time to like go listen to it, at least listen to like the title track. Just to
Right.
kind of I feel like that's as a music fan, I feel like you should listen to the title track personally. I feel like it's
Mhm.
almost required listening.
Yeah, I definitely think I would agree with that because Band on the Run, like we said earlier, there's so much packed in there that you won't be disappointed. You won't be bored.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
want to
overall.
give the album a score?
Oh, yeah. I would say, ooh, that's tough. I want to give it like a 10 out of 10,
Do it.
but I think I'll stick with it. I think it's a 10 out of 10 album. I don't find any real fault in it.
I'm gonna go with a strong 9. I really enjoy this album. I just think it's a little front loaded. I think the first
Mhm.
like 5 tracks are better than like I don't know, this math might be off. The last 3 tracks?
Yeah.
Four
Okay. Yeah,
tracks.
I get.
My math is off. But Band on the Run from Mamonia is a very good run of songs. And while I like the
Mhm.
last 4 songs, I just don't think it's as quality. But
That
that's a very
doesn't. Yeah.
minor nitpick on an
Mhm.
overall pretty amazing album.
Yeah, like it's not gonna make you turn away from the album.
Absolutely
It's
not.
so overall definitely worth a listen.
100%, I would highly recommend. Being the esteemed music critic I am, highly recommend this
Yes,
one.
you heard it here, Riley, esteemed music critic.
The A side, music critic extraordinaire.
The A side has recommended this album, so that means you should listen to it right
It
now.
bumps in the whip.
um, what were we talking about before? I was like, oh, let's close on. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I think we were just talking about. Oh, I remember now. So obviously, like this is our first podcast. We're we're like learning how to do this. It's
Yeah,
gonna get better. It's gonna improve the more
hopefully.
we do it. Hopefully, cross our fingers. Um, but I think our plan really kind of is just to talk about music, like whatever we want, whether that
Yeah,
is an album or whether it's like an artist. In general, uh, I don't think like unlike a YouTube channel, we can really kind of we don't really need to follow anything. We can kind of just you
do
know
whatever.
do whatever. I mean, you can kind of do that with a YouTube channel too, but
It's
like
pretty
it's
much
just
the same
like
channel.
yeah, like for me, like my YouTube channel, right now I'm kind of following like like a little series, I guess you could say.
Yeah, you're talking about the Beatles.
Yeah. which it won't always be that. But
Eventually.
like I think like we're gonna be listening to not just classic rock. Like I think what we should listen to stuff that um isn't like the Beatles.
Yeah. I assume we're gonna
uh
stay mainly rock focused though.
I would, yeah, we could dive into other
I enjoy everything
genres.
except for country, so I'm down for anything.
Country in for me, not like metal or like you're gonna like hate me, but like I'm not like really into Green Day and that kind
Oof.
of punk
Oof.
rock. So, like,
That's fair. I don't like Pink Floyd, so we'll leave it at that.
okay, yeah,
I
we're
don't hate
even.
Pink Floyd. I don't want
It's
to get
not
too off
everybody.
topic, but
Yeah,
I think quickly, because now I want to give my thoughts. Dark Side of the Moon's pretty good. The Wall is good, but it's too long, and the whole part where he turns into a Nazi is weird and didn't need to be there. And Wish You Were Here is boring as hell.
what?
Ugh, it's bad. Not a fan.
See, we don't agree on everything. Like today, we agreed on a lot of stuff, but we don't always agree on things. So don't expect that every time.
Maybe I just need to give her another chance, but I
Maybe.
doubt I'll come around on it because I'm not too warm on the other two albums I've heard either.
See, like that's the thing. It's like I don't know if I'll give like I don't know. I just Green Day. I don't know.
Not
I
for
can't like
everyone.
not yeah. I
My
mean, I can
brother and
understand
sister
Pink
both
Floyd
hate
too.
Green Day.
Um, yeah, Pink Floyd though is also not for everybody. It's kind of I don't know how
I
to
definitely have a
explain
lot
it.
of respect for Floyd for a
Yeah.
lot of their influence and also like the more technical side of things. Like they broke a lot of ground like recording wise too, and like what you could do and how you record an album, like what you can do with music, and like they kind of like really brought like the idea of a concept album to the next level with like I mean starting off with Dark Side of the Moon, but I would say even more so on The Wall. Like that has to be like one of the first like big like 80-minute long epic rock operas ever, and even though I don't always enjoy a lot of it, I have a lot of respect for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like you know bands like Pink Floyd and really just revolutionary bands like that, you don't have to like them, but you can't like just look over
Yeah, you
their
can't
influence or their
discredit their
impact.
influence in the things they did.
Yeah.
Like they're never a band I'll call garbage or bad because I don't think they're
Hmm.
a bad band at all. There are certain bands I do think are bad, even influential ones like Metallica. But
Oh, yeah.
while I don't enjoy Pink Floyd's music, I definitely see the appeal, and I definitely think they're very talented and very good. Just not something I personally enjoy much.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a little off topic there. Maybe we can talk about Floyd in a future episode.
Yeah, we can talk about whatever we want.
All
Talk
right,
about so
we should
well,
probably end this. It's almost an
pro-
hour at this point.
probably we don't want to drag it on too long, but this was fun. I
This
had a
was
lot of
fun.
fun doing this.
This was great.
We'll definitely be doing this
Make
more
sure,
than once.
yes, of course. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode of the Rock Talk podcast. Do you have anything you want to like advertise that's coming out soon on your channel?
Well, hopefully I'll be getting just like any video out. I have had a couple videos recorded, but I have to edit them. But
All
just
right.
keep an eye out.
You've heard it here first. The Classic Rock Corner is going to be putting out a new video soon.
It's been like over a month. I always say I'm gonna get videos out, but I don't.
It's hard. It really is
It is.
with school and everything.
I do it all from my phone, so it's like hard.
Oh yeah,
But we we do it. So
and her
yeah,
videos are
just
very good. So
well, thank you.
definitely
Same
recommend
with
checking them out.
same with the A side.
Thank
Very
you.
very entertaining. You've got some great opinions and you voice them very well.
Yes, I've got a
Um,
first reaction, a part two of my first reaction to AJR's debut album. It's been filmed for months now. I just need to finish editing it. I finally got part one out, and I should be getting part two out soon. So keep an
keep
eye
your
out for
eye out
that.
for part two. I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to advertise.
I don't think I do either. So, I mean, I'll leave whatever channel this is posted to, I'll leave both links in the description so you can subscribe to both of us and check us out if you're new around here. Um, and yeah, just thank you for watching, and I guess have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.